What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr War Games, and today I am bringing you some of the best options that you can use for a side deck for Dark Worlds. Now obviously, as you've seen on the channel currently, we have done so many content updates, different profile versions for Dark Worlds. One question I was asked is, what is the side deck looking like? So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe. And I'm going to take you through, basically, first off, the generic cards that you should be putting in or considering for your side deck depending on the matchups. And then cards that are specific for Dark Worlds, those that benefit more times than not from a Dark World deck. So just the pretty much standard ones here. We've got a win con in time. So this could be your coach trainer. But personally, I think everyone mainly goes for Ghost Sister because it can work going first or second as a way to guarantee a win con. Harpy's Feather Duster, I think, is a card that you can put in as a staple in and out alongside something like Evenly Matched and Lightning Storm, and this is just board clearance. Now, obviously, there is a better option to Duster for this particular deck, and I'll explain that when we get onto the cards that are specific to Dark Worlds. And then something right now in the format that is quite busy and powerful is Draw and Lockbird. This can be really, really good in the Flunder matchup. It can also be very good in the Mirror matchup as well. And works out very, very nicely. So a range of these, like personally for me, I'm putting 3 of these in, 3 of these in, and 3 of these in. So that only leaves me with 6 spaces to play around with. But those 6 spaces will then come down to what type of matchups you're facing, what the local environment's like, and then some of these cards that I'm about to show you now. So we'll talk about the back row hate version first, or the out to it first mainly, and we're going to talk about Twin Twisters. So this is the other option for your Lightning Storms and everything like that. Now obviously Lightning Storm is very good in the fact that you play it going second, you can take out your opponent's front row or back row. With Twin Twisters, White gets an additional benefit. It won't actually trigger the Dark Worlds, but it can trigger the Dangers. And what you've got to keep in mind as well with a deck like this is you need to kind of maintain hand advantage where at all possible. And obviously that's very easy to do when you're bouncing back your Graphers and your Rainbows, but you've got to keep in mind as well that with your Dangers going second, if you were to activate Twin Twister with discarding a Thunderbird, you actually turn a Twin Twisters from a double pop into a triple pop. If you discard a Bigfoot, again, that'll let you deal with a face-up card, and when a lot of people are playing Fissures and Macrocosmos and Floodgates and everything like that, Twin Twisters can actually be just as important, especially if your opponent was to flip like an anti-spell on you. So if they went D-Fissure and then flipped an anti-spell, and this is something you're probably going to be looking into going into game 3, Twin Twisters will be a lot better for you because you definitely don't want to be losing the game just because you've been locked out by a Floodgate. The next one I'm going to talk about is very specific, but I'll talk about the benefits behind that, and that of course is Zombie World plus Necro World Banshee. Now this is only going to be useful for the Flundereeze matchup. It can be very good in a matchup that requires specific types on the board. So when you look at something like Dragon Link, when a lot of their cards require them to use dragons, turn them into zombies can be very damaging, but it's going to be less likely than in the Flunder matchup. Now the reason this combo can be good is you would probably only play 1 Zombie World and then 3 Banshees. And the way that works so well is Banshee is just free discard fodder from any of your danger reveals. And by hitting a Banshee, you then get a benefit of deck thinning by 1 and activating Zombie World. Keep in mind, when activating Zombie World as well, you have to be careful on what you're playing because you've got to look at something like Muckracker or anything else that will turn stuff in the graveyards into zombies. So when you're trying to use Muckracker's effect to revive a Fiend, it won't be a Fiend. So you've got to keep that in mind. It's just a very optional card that I thought I'd mention before going too far. Then we'll talk about the normal summons of the deck. Now, keep in mind as well that the Dark World deck and even Danger deck does not care about their normal summon. The normal summon is an additional benefit, which is why with all of the profiles that I've produced for you guys, you'll see so many different normal summon options because they just have access to a full variety. Now, because you do not rely heavily on the said normal summon, it's not like, right, okay, I need to play an Aluba to get me my search, or I need to play I need to play a Sprite or something that just gives you that guaranteed normal summon. It actually unlocks your extra decks, your side deck. So you could be playing a card like Denko Sekka because you don't really care what your normal summon is. And so just being able to normal summon Denko Sekka against like a heavy back row deck, if they're holding back certain floodgates or anything, and as long as like they're not going to have a judgment or a warning and you just go Denko, all of your plays are then free to make. Now, obviously, this is going to be matchup specific because if your locals has no control decks, you don't care about it at all. However, what you will care about is something like Lava Golem alongside a Ras Fear mode. In a deck like this, there is no reason to be playing a Kaiju when you can be playing something like Lava Golem and Ras Fear mode. Again, that will all come down to the particular matchups you're facing. Like, if you're constantly seeing week after week after week people putting 3 monsters on the board without question, then Wrath Sphere mode is the one for you. If you're only seeing people put 2 monsters on the board, then Lava Golem is the better option. One thing that makes Lava Golem even better is because it's a level 8, if you're already playing Trade-In and you go first with it, you can actually activate Trade-In, ditch it, and draw 2 cards. On top of that as well, if the game is really, really tight and you can't kill any of your opponent's monsters and time is coming down, you Lava Golem them, you pass your turn, so that during a standby phase they take that 1000 burn damage, and then they have to rush into the battle phase to OTK you or to do that different damage of 1000 life points. So little note, if you are giving them Lava Golem and you can't kill it, make sure you're putting monsters in defense and do not leave your board open, because they can just go draw, standby phase, burn for 1000, main phase, battle phase, hit Lava Golem, or attack you with Lava Golem, that's 3000 damage, and then just sit on it and wait. So that's pretty much it for like the spells and monsters. Moving on to the traps that can really, really help you. And what works so nicely in a deck like this is because in game 1, you're probably going to be showing your opponent a lot of monsters. They're going to be like, there's no way they're going to be putting in back row there. So they're not going to put in back row hate for you. So when you start surprising them and going first or anything like that, you can start flipping cards like Skill Drain. You can flip specific viruses, which I'll talk about in a minute. And of course, you can play something like Gozen or Rivalry if you want to. But Gozen does give you a little bit more creative control because it only locks you into attribute, meaning you're only locked into darks. And there's plenty of cards in the extra deck and main deck that may not be... so obviously dangers would be a very big issue with this with Rivalry, but with Gozen, dangers don't care because they're all darks as well. So you can flood the board with dangers and dark worlds. So Skill Drain is pretty straightforward on that one. You play a lot of main deck boss monsters that are just incredibly powerful. So it really comes down to if your opponent cannot put boss monsters on the board and you can, Skill Drain is a must-have because you flip this, yes, you take the 1000 damage, but you're playing around with monsters that can get boosted through the field spell. Your strongest monster will be 3/5 from the extra deck. Your strongest from the main deck will be 3/3 in the form of Rainbow with the field spell. So you just pretty much control that game state and even deals with stuff like the Qijing or Qijiao from Sword Soul as well. The viruses, again, is matchup specific and local specific. You can activate stuff like Eradicator for spells and trap decks. You can also be activating stuff like Deck Devi. It really comes down to what you are facing and if it's worth it. Now, right now, in a tier element format, it's not a card you want to be activating. But if you go to your locals and people have made a gentleman's agreement not to play tier element Ishizu, then activating something like a Deck Devi or an Eradicator can be incredibly powerful. I've already pretty much touched on Gozen, but like I've said, these cards that you see in front of you are cards that benefit the Dark World Danger strategy the most. Like I said, you've got the boss monsters, you can utilize Skill Drain. Your Dangers and Dark Worlds are all dark monsters, so Gozen is no problem. If you think your opponent is playing multi-types or multi-attributes, you can lock them under a Gozen. You don't worry about your normal summon at all. So something like a Denko or a Lava Golem can be incredibly powerful because they're cards that even if you wanted to go blind second, they're cards your opponent doesn't think about in game 1 and you just drop a Lava Golem on them. It's also kind of something a little bit more restrictive that further on along down the line, that where decks are becoming more reliant on their normal summon, a Lava Golem can be incredibly powerful. So like, for example, when you look at Kashtiras going into the new format of the new year, dropping a Lava Golem on them because they're probably going to end on a Mind Hacker and a Shangri-La, they're going to look at your extra deck, and your extra deck you can pretty much go, don't really mind about that. So being able to Lava Golem them to unlock your zones and then be able to carry on through is incredibly valuable. Now you may be like, well, where's Droplets, where's Dark Rulers? Dark Rulers is a good generic card that you can use if you want to. The issue is, with a deck like Dark World, you have a lot to play through multiple negates, and that's where Lava Golem, in my opinion, is better than a Dark Ruler. And what I mean by that is, if I had an opening hand of 6, I would much rather see a Lava Golem than a Dark Ruler. Unless my opponent, again, like I said, is putting multiple monsters on the board that are forms of negations. Like, Dark Ruler and Lava Golem both deal with front row and back row. Lava Golem eats up your normal summon, and that's kind of something that we just aren't worried about at all. So being able to go, cool, Lava Golem your opponent, that will deal with the average normal 2 negates that your opponent tries to put on the board, and you don't have to deal with getting rid of them, plus you can still get your battle phase if you want it, and you're able to do so with so many big monsters. The only thing you need to worry about is getting rid of the Lava Golem, so... keep that in mind. The Denko Sekka, like I said, is more so just this space here is for any normal summon monster that is incredibly powerful on its own, that can fit in a side deck, that can be utilized because your deck doesn't really worry about it, and it will help you with specific matchups. And that leaves them is pretty much it. Now, obviously, there are other cards that a lot of you might consider. You could be playing stuff like Cosmic Cyclones and everything else. But like I said, these are the generic cards I see a lot of people playing around with. And these are the cards that are specific to the Dark Worlds that will give them a bit of a benefit, which is why this is a Dark World side deck video rather than just a generic side deck video. Anyway, I hope you found this informative and helpful. I hope it does kind of give you a couple of ideas going forward on what you can put in your side deck and how you can help your side deck improve in order to kind of deal with certain matchups. So just give you an example of what my ultimate side deck would be for my current locals would probably be 3 evenly matched, 3 Droll and Lockbirds, 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. And then the final 6 slots will probably come down to between either 2 Lava Golem, 2 Gozen, and 2 Skill Drain, or it would be either one of those at 3. The rest of these is really kind of deck dependent. I probably should have some form of back row removal in there, so it'd either be Twin Twister or Lightning Storm, just to up your consistency. But keep in mind, when you're playing Dangers and you're playing Dark Worlds and everything like that, you need to make sure that when you're revealing a danger, you are not reducing your hand limit in a negative value. So, like, I don't want to open up my opening hand if I'm going like second being these 3 cards plus 2 dangers, for example, or a danger in a Dark World, because then you ideally want to be like, you're probably going to want to set the Twin Twisters, you're going to set the Skill Drain, and then you'll reveal the danger, and you've got a 1 in 3 chance of hitting the danger and a 1 in 3 chance of hitting the other card as well. So that is also a very little tip to keep an eye on when you're side decking, is making sure you don't disrupt the balance of your main deck as you do it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Do like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.